Last time we learned about the basics of ES6 classes. Now we're going to cover inheritance. Inheritance is a major feature of object-oriented programming. It is useful because it allows for code reuse and is also a way of enabling polymorphism. Polymorphism is a bit beyond the scope of this post, but you can read up in it online by Googling. It basically allows you to treat objects of two different classes as the same in some circumstances and as being different in others if both classes are related. So let's see how we do inheritance in ES6 JavaScript. So we've got some code here, and let's say we're coding the internal system for some big corporation. Let's call it Evil Core, for example. So we've created a class employee to represent an employee. In the constructor, we set up basic info like ID, social security number, salary, etc., etc. The system we are creating as part of its function runs the payroll. So let's add a function to the employee to handle that. Because I'm feeling really lazy because I just want to be off playing the new updates to Rainbow Six Siege, I'm just going to go ahead and paste in a function to generate a payslip for an employee. And then I'm going to create a new employee object. Then I'm going to console.log the results of running generate payslip on that new employee object. And we should see the results as expected in the console. There we go, that works fine. Now for the inheritance. Now, other parts of the system will need a list of managers and their subordinates. To enable this, we will need a manager class, and that will need a list of managed employees and the ability to both add and remove them. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to create a new manager class. It will have to hold an array of managed employees. We can set that up within the constructor. And again, I'm just going to be a bit lazy, and I'm going to paste a couple of functions in here that allow the adding and removal of managed employees. Adding just pushes the new employee onto the array. Removing filters the array so it no longer contains the removed employee. Well, this is all great, but if we create a new manager object by using the manager constructor, and then we try to run payroll for him by calling generate payslip, we're going to get an error. Let's just see this. Of course there's an error because there's no generate payslip function on manager. So in this case, in terms of the payslip generation, we want to treat managers like they are employees. Since we already have perfectly good code to generate a payslip, it seems like a waste to write it again. We want to reuse what we have already. In addition to this, a manager really is an employee, just an employee with additional functionality, in this case being able to add and remove managed employees. So what we really want to do is say that a manager is an employee with all of its functionality, but it also extends its functionality to add all of the managed employee stuff. And extends really is the keyword here. If we go to the class definition and say that manager extends employee, manager will now be all of the functionality from employee, plus all the new stuff about managing employees, adding, removing managed employees, which we just added. It extends it with this functionality. The only problem at the moment is that the manager's constructor will be run instead of the employees when we create a new manager. This is really easy to solve though. So we just take all of the arguments that we pass to the employee constructor and have them in the manager constructor. Then, just before setting up the managed employees array, we call a very special function called super, and we pass the super all the args for the constructor. So what super is it refers to the parent class. So when we're within manager, it refers to employee. So when we call super within manager, we're calling the employee constructor. But it's a little bit more than that. It also calls the employee constructor in the context of the current manager instance. So the this in this constructor up here will refer to the new manager object being constructed. So now where we create the new manager object and where we call the constructor, we're going to put some arguments in there that it now needs, and we're going to rerun the generate payslip function. And as you can see, this now works. This is because manager has inherited this generate payslip function from the employee class. I have new videos going out regular as clockwork every Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 AM Eastern Time. Click that subscribe button now and don't miss them.